Hi guys, Jasmo here, and today I have for you an updated video about the Harvest Sacred Grove layout. So I went ahead and set up a much better layout based on the Reddit post, which was made by a guy called ZytePL or something like that. Basically, this guy made a very good layout that I think was even better than the extreme one. There was another one that was like 100% filled, but there is no point to do that because you're not gonna ever get that many seeds, and also the other one didn't have a T4, but this one, when you look at the updated version, has a lot of space to grow T4, basically like full T4 setup, full T2 setup, and you can grow T3 and T4. You're never gonna need like that many, like unless you're like mass buying seeds, T3 seeds and T4 seeds for some reason, but this is very like sufficient for anybody doing any kind of setup. This looks super complicated, but I'm gonna try to break it down a little bit so that it's easier for you to set up. Basically, he posted a link to this spreadsheet and then how to connect pictures, which I'm going to also link in the description. And basically what you want to do is first you want to make sure that you understand the orientation, right? So if you look at this map, like this region that I'm in right now, that is the top left of the picture, so that is here, right? This is a little bit tilted, like this schematic is like 45 degrees tilted clockwise, something like that. So you want to make sure that you understand that this is this part, and then when you start building, you try to find out the edges, right? So you take your whatever they are, like life force collector, and you make sure that you align it so that you can see the entire square. And if you're not sure, you can like plant a couple of seeds at the edges to see like if you can still place them here, because you cannot place seeds here, you cannot place seeds here. So this is all making sure that you can always like plant full amount of seeds in there. And you will basically, I recommend starting with placing this thing, like placing the basic tier 1 life force collector farms. So you'll place one here, and then you can place the like pylons that are closest to it. Then make sure to place this one and pylons that are closest to it, and then you place this one, and then you move on to storage, right? Storage is very simple. You'll basically have squares that are 3 by 3, right? So you will have 3 by 3 square of storage here and here, and then for purple here, and then for blue here and here. That's all you have to do. So 3 by 3, 3 by 3, and all the amount of parts that you will need, the amount of every single thing that you will need is written here. You will need one more pylon than that, because there was an error here, and I think this part, like this, maybe doesn't connect. There's something here that doesn't connect, and you need to put an extra pylon here on top of the T4, but you'll find that out because you're gonna be doing that last, so you'll understand it better by then. But basically you need like one extra pylon on top of what is written here. So this is you need basically 5 collectors of each, so basically 15 collectors, like storage 18 times 3, dispersers 18 times 3, which is what, 57 or something, and then you have 40, 43 and 32, so that is what, 115 pylons, so 116 pylons. That's the total amount of the equipment that you will need. And you do it only once this league, so for the next like 3 months you're set. It took me maybe 30 minutes to do this, less than an hour for sure, but it took me like about 30 minutes, maybe 40, maybe 20, something around 30 minutes to set this up. It was very annoying at the beginning, but then later on I got the hang of it and it was a bit easier. So you set up these, you set up pylons, and don't worry about connections at first. I would recommend setting up everything first and then doing the connections. So if you go here to the bottom, like you can see this, how this looks in practice, right? Because that's, I think, also helpful. Like these yellow ones are here, that's the tier 1 farm, and then the blue ones are here, 3 in a row, that's the tier 1 farm. And then next thing I recommend setting up is the storage. So for storage, you want to make sure that you set up these guys exactly as it's there. Like I set them up actually kind of closer to here, but it doesn't matter in this case. And then the way it's gonna work is you're going to have the pylons from tier 1s. The pylons from tier 1s, they can be connected, for example, through primal life force collector. So as you can see, I have this collector connected to this pylon, which goes here later to tier 2s, but it also goes to this collector, and it also goes to this pylon. And that means through this line and this life force collector is connected to this pylon. So it can, like, this propagates through life force collectors. So it can also propagate through dispersers, so you don't need to have that. Now, another trick for setting up the infrastructure is to look at like the outline. Let's see. So for example, I have life force energy coming into this, right? And then I have life force energy from this coming into this. You need to make sure that you have life force energy coming into each of these, like one of each. So where do I have it? Actually, not even. You just need to have life force collector coming into one of them. Here's why. Because you're going to have these pylons that stand in front of them. Pylons can have maximum of four connections. So what you want to do is make sure that you connect each pylon to 3 storage tanks, and then to the pylon that combines them. And then these pylons are later combined as well. So these 2 pylons connect somewhere later. And then that means that all of these are connected. And that means that all of these storage tanks are connected, right? So basically it has to go around, but it will always get there. So as you can see here, this pylon is connected to the next pylon, right? And so we got 3 of these connected to this. And the 4th connection is just going forward with it. And then each of these pylons here is connected to the 3 storage tanks behind it. So these storage tanks are going to be always connected to the rest of your infrastructure and to even the beginning of it, right? So you don't need to like have every single pylon connected. That will require way too many pylons. And if I disconnect this, you can see that it doesn't have the blue outline now. So you can see it's not connected to the blue system, let's call it, right? So in order to have it connected to the blue system, you have to do it like this. And now you can see, right? If I disconnect this one, you see this is not connected now because it doesn't have that blue outline here. And if I do connect it, now I see this blue outline. So that's how you know it's connected to your entire blue system, right? That it has some source of the blue energy from the primal life force collector. And then later it's being propagated here to tier 2 farms, which I'll talk about in a moment. So that's this one. Then we have the yellow storage, which basically you just follow this diagram and do it exactly as is showcased here. The grids, like a single square, corresponds to a square within which you can place units. So if you want to count them, let me grab like a pylon, for example, right? So if I want to count squares, let's say I need to place pylon from this one, which is here. Let's say I need to place pylon here. So that means I need to go 1, 2, 3 to the right and 1 to the top, right? So what I do is I take a pylon and I place it exactly at this one, and I go 1, 2, 3 to the right and 1 to the top, right? And this is where I would place it, right? Of course, you can always control click to remove things if you mess them up and correct them later. So this is the infrastructure that is the yellow one. This is the purple infrastructure, and all of that will be connected at first to the tier 2. So tier 2 is the first like 5-head complicated thing that you're gonna have to do. But the basic principle is that the purple ones need blue and yellow, the blue one need purple or pink and yellow, and the yellow ones need pink and blue. And basically try to follow it in a way that you'll have this first pylon, always have a point of reference, right? So think of it like this way. We have the middle pylon that is right of the storage, and then we go 2 to the right, like two of them is 2 squares of a gap, and then there will be a disperser, right? So if I look here, that's the middle pylon. So I will need to have 1, 2 gap and then disperser. So this is where we have a yellow disperser here, right? And then once you have that, now you know that this disperser, 2 to the right, you place the life force collector, right? So again, we can go back to here and we see 1, 2 to the right, that's the life force collector. And this is a tier 2. This is where I'm growing my tier 2 seeds, and I need to still like fix some seeds here and get some more life force. But as you can see, this is going to be growing, and I'm gonna have like a full stack of tier 2 seeds soon. After you figure out this, you basically make sure that this is your point of reference, and then you're like, okay, so above that I put a disperser, above that a tier 1 seed. This tier 1 seed is here for the proximity, right? Because if you look at the corner, this seed, can I zoom in? Yes, I can. So this seed, tier 2, needs to have 4 proxy seeds. So 1, 2, 3, and then there's this 4th one. And this will never be harvested. It will stay there because it's outside of the life force collector, right? So that's a clever way that this guy came up with of making sure that you always have the proximity and you can do the full plant. And same with these ones. So after you have this setup, you just make sure that you set up like one wall at a time. So you go like disperser, seed, pylon, pylon, and the next one, seed, 2 dispersers, 2 pylons, seed, 2 dispersers, 2 pylons, seed, 2 dispersers, 2 pylons. Always, like if you go the same direction, it always follows the same pattern. And the craziest part, which is all the connections, right? So you basically, I would recommend doing one color at a time. So I would like drop everything here, drop everything here, drop everything here, drop all the infrastructure for tier 2s, and then go to these pictures, which show purple connections. This one shows yellow connections, and this one shows blue. So let's say you want to start with yellow. So you go to here, you're like, okay, I need to connect this disperser to all of these pylons. You could do another pylon and connect it, but this is like less infrastructure required. And then, okay, this disperser connects to this pylon to this disperser, disperser to pylon, pylon disperser, disperser pylon, pylon disperser, disperser pylon, 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 right? So that's how you connect to everything. It's a closed loop. It will always benefit from all of the storage that you have here. And then in order to propagate that loop, you connect the next zone's pylon to the disperser from the first one. You can propagate through dispersers as well. And you basically do that for all 3 of those, and you're set up for tier 2. In order to set up for tier 3, this basically requires, instead of 2 dispersers at each side, it requires 3 dispersers at each side, and that will require also a little bit more pylons in order to cover all of them. And that's basically it. Like if you make sure that you set up the seeds in the corners are very important, so make sure to not forget them. And this is everything you will need for the entire league, and then after that you don't need to do anything other than just run maps and harvest seeds and just kill mobs and plant them. I'll try to make a video also about like certain crafts, because some crafts are really crazy powerful if you know how to take advantage of them. So that video will be coming in one of the videos soon. Hopefully this has been helpful. You can find all the links in the description. Good luck with setting up your gardens. Thank you for watching.